I am Jessie Mahoney, and this class is an afternoon, evening mindful yoga and more gentle restorative yin focus. And we will start this afternoon, lying on your back, using 2 blocks if you have them in supported fish. If you don't have blocks, you can also use a bolster. And you lay down the lower edge of your scapula on the lower block and your occiput on the upper block. The top block is on the top setting and the bottom block is on the lowest setting. And you will bring your feet into butterfly, soles of the feet together, knees apart. And come back to your breath. And for anyone who's just joining, let's sit up and show the blocks there. So the front block is horizontal on the lowest setting, with the front edge will be the bottom of the bra strap or the bottom of your scapula, and the top block is on its top setting. If you have a bolster, you can actually lay it over if you like. I prefer to do it without the bolster because it gives you a nice occiput release. But if you would like to do that, or if you only have a bolster, you can lay over the bolster if that works for your back. So, and if you have no blocks, you can lie in Supta Baddha Konasana or reclining butterfly to start. And taking a moment to arrive here, letting yourself enjoy it and connect with the pleasure of settling in here. Taking some time for you, coming back to your breath. And with intention, bring mind, body, and spirit onto the mat, into your body here in this moment. And my invitation for this hour is going to be this idea of sprinkling pleasure. Most of us save our pleasure for the holidays or the big trip or the thing that's going to make us happy and be amazing. And yet, what if we could sprinkle those moments of pleasure all around in each and every day? And more than likely, the pleasure is there. We are just not pausing to notice it, pausing to embrace it, or pausing to appreciate it. So we will practice sprinkling the pleasure, sprinkling the noticing and the joy, and allowing it to feel good. We often go to the pleasure being indulgent, and yet notice as you're here how it feels and if it's pleasurable. Notice what is pleasurable. Perhaps the space in your heart, perhaps the soles of your feet, your big toes touching. What feels good? And letting yourself bathe in what feels good in this moment. For 5 more breaths. A sprinkle of pleasure on your Sunday afternoon, evening. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Enjoying each breath. Attending to the pleasure. And even and especially if you're in a hard moment or a busy moment, could you pause and allow the pleasure even as you're working towards solving problems, even as you're working towards a resolution or moving forward? Taking one more big, huge in-breath in, pour it into your chest all the way down to your belly. And a huge out-breath release. And you'll bring your hands to your outer thighs, draw knees together, and stretch your legs long for a moment. Long, long, long in front. Point your toes and reach arms up above you. Let them fall over your head. They'll stay up way above the ground. And enjoy a huge stretch here. Let it be one of those delicious, amazing stretches. Exhale, let it out. Bringing hands back by your sides, and we'll roll off the blocks to one side. Push the blocks out of the way for now, and roll onto your, or lie down onto your back. Draw knees into your chest, give them a hug, and have a rock. Side to side, massage your sacrum. Grab right shin, extend left leg long, point left toe and right toe. Flex right toe and let left toes. Bring hands behind right thigh and reach that right heel all the way to the sky. Toes point towards your nose. Heel reaches, 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 reaches as high as you can. Big breath in and out. Point your right toe towards the sky. Enjoy the pleasure in this shin. Flex ankle, point your toes towards your nose. Allow that pleasure in the back of the leg. Press the heel to the sky, hamstring into your hands. Bend your knee and lower your foot down. Sole of the foot on the earth to begin. Bring left knee into your chest, hug the left shin, extend right leg. Enjoy the release in your hip flexor. Point toes and flex ankles. Hands come to the back of the thigh, reach the heel to the sky. Press, press, press the heel as high as you can. Press hamstring into your hands. Enjoy the pleasure of the stretch. Stretching releases serotonin, which feels good. Point the toes. Enjoy the shin. Lots of pleasurable sensations mixed in there. Noticeable sensations. Flex your ankle, toes to your nose. Press hamstring into your hands. Press heel to the sky. Bend the left knee. Extend the leg long in front. Reach arms overhead. Stretch long, long, long. Walk feet towards the left. Right ankle atop left. Grab left wrist with right hand. Tug gently to the left. Both sides coming into crescent moon or banana. Let it be super pleasurable. Huge exhale. Tug right wrist a little more towards the left. One more breath, no rush and no urgency. Pausing to sprinkle these moments of pleasure. Uncross feet, walk them all the way to the other side. Hands come to the other side, switch the clasp, left ankle over right, and enjoy fully your left side body, every nook and cranny. Huge breath in and out. 3 big breaths here. Fully enjoying every nook and cranny of that left side body, all the way into the armpits, into the upper waist. Untangle your feet and come back to center. Bend knees, roll over to one side and press up to a seat. Stretch your legs long. Move the flesh of your seat out of the way. Grab a bolster if you have one, or a pillow or a block. You'll place it atop your legs and slide forward over the bolster. Release the lower back, flex your ankles, hug your toes into the bolster, release your head and neck. Enjoying a forward fold here, lots of sensations. Breathe into them and connect with the ones that feel pleasurable. Big deep breath.
3 more breaths here. In yin and gentle yoga, we hold poses longer to allow the release, the layers to release, one layer upon the other. One more breath here. Slide up the bolster. You'll move it to the side, spread your legs wide, coming into a wide angle. And you can bring a block if you have one, place it between your legs, and you'll walk your hands forward, hinge at the waist, back is flat. You can bring your elbows to the block if you wish. You may have to make it taller. Flex ankle, flex toes, back is flat. And enjoy the sensations in the backs of the legs. Come back to your breath. Big, deep breaths. Point toes. Connect with the sprinkles of pleasure in the shins running up your legs. Flex your ankles. Toes come towards your knees. Walk hands a little farther forward. See if you have any more room. Release head and neck. You may even grab your feet if you have room. And enjoy that stretch. Envision the serotonin releasing. You can grab your big toe, make friends with it. And slowly rise up to a seat. Find your ischial spines, tilt your pelvic bowl forward, sit up nice and tall. Your heart will puff forward. Left hand slides down the left leg, reach your right arm over the right ear, and enjoy your right waist here. Big breath in. Exhale, gaze over the right shoulder if that works for your neck. Be kind to your neck. Big deep breath in and out. 2 more breaths. Rise upward, slide right hand down right leg, and reach the left hand arm over left ear. Enjoy your left waist. Inhale. Exhale, gaze over the left shoulder. Breathe it out. Enjoy it. Rising back up, right. You'll slide your legs together, sweep them around, and come to hands and knees. Lower forearms to the floor. We're going to come into puppy pose. You wiggle your elbows a little bit farther forward, wiggle fingers farther forward, lower forehead to the floor, and enjoy your back and scapula. Big breath in and out. Let this be a juicy, pleasurable stretch. Do a little shimmying and a little wiggles to see what feels good here. 5 breaths. Two more. Slowly walk your arms back towards you. Press up to table. Inhale for cow. Arch your sit bones towards the sky. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Hold it for a breath. Attend to the pleasure in the front of the belly, rarely stretched in this way. Round into the most delightful, pleasurable cat you can. Cats have sprinkling pleasure down. We're practicing. Inhale for cow once again. Reach your sit bones as high as you can, belly as long as you can, heart shines forward. Exhale, press into cat, reach as tall as you can. Extend your right leg long behind, drop right heel, reach right arm up to the sky. And right arm reaches over the left ear. Enjoy your whole right side body here. Stretch long, let it feel good. Enjoy the pleasure in the waist. Roll your wrist, sprinkle that pleasure into your fingers, wiggle fingers. Let it feel really good. If you wish, you can raise that right leg. And if you wish, you can bend it and grab your foot and enjoy the stretch in the thigh. Feels pretty good if it works for your body. If it doesn't, hang out stretching that side body. Breathe into the front of the right thigh. Enjoy the stretch. 2 huge cleansing breaths. Envision the serotonin circulating around with each stretch. Release your foot, stretch long, stretch your arm long again, lower your foot. Come down to hands and knees. As you do, thread right arm through the left arm, come in to thread the needle. Right ear will land on the earth. Stretch left arm as long as you can forward and enjoy the stretch. 3 big breaths here. Enjoy your right shoulder. Bring your left hand back by your face, untangle. Reach right arm to the sky. Come back to hands and knees. Extend left leg long behind. Drop your left heel to the right. Reach left arm up to the sky. Lower it over your left ear and enjoy that stretch. Enjoy fingers, waist, outer edge of the left foot. And if it works for your body, raise left foot, bend the knee, grab your foot, and enjoy your thigh here. Hugging heel towards your rear end. Breathe and let the pleasure circulate. Using the breath as a conduit to carry the pleasure around, little droplets of it, sprinkling it all over your body and other spots. Perhaps your heart needs a little dose, your tummy, who knows? Send it wherever you like. Release the foot, release arm over. One more stretch here, and we'll come back to hands and knees. If you have blocks, put them towards the front of your mat. If you don't need them, but they will make this feel much better. Bringing hands to the blocks, bring your left foot between the block. You're on your back knee. You're going to come into Anjaneyasana or low lunge using the blocks, if you have them, to keep yourself upright. The blocks will allow a deeper stretch. And when you arrive, make sure your hands and wrists are well cared for. Drop shoulders. Tack left hip back and right hip forward a wee bit. Tiny little shifts will feel amazing. Lift up left toes and spread them. Slide back knee back about 1 centimeter and see what shifts. If you need to pad your right knee, go ahead and do that. Four more breaths here. Close eyes. And send your attention to either your hip flexor or your heart space. Notice what needs the attention and send it there. One more breath on this side. Let the last one be really enjoyable. Straight left leg. Bring toes in the air. Walk the blocks farther towards you. Hands on the blocks and you'll fold forward. You can do this without blocks too if you don't have blocks. The intention is to keep your back flat. Left ankle is flexed, toes reach towards the sky. Spread your toes as wide as you can. Notice the pleasurable sensations in the back of the leg when you do that. Release the toes. Flex ankle a wee bit more. Hinge forward a wee bit more. Breathe. And set the intention to find the pleasure, the sprinkle of pleasure in each little moment. Always there. We just move right through. Pause for the pleasure. Lower the front toes. We're going to shift our weight forward and come into lizard. Some of you will want blocks and some of you will want to come lower. Your left foot's going to come to the outer edge of the mat. Roll onto the outer edge of the left foot and the right knee is going to slide back farther. I like to stay up. Some of you may want to come down onto the floor or blocks. It depends on your body. There isn't a right way to do this one. Do it so it's comfortable and nothing hurts. It should feel good. Your pelvis is open, your groin is open. This actually also strengthens the pelvic floor. You just notice it's there. Send your attention to it. Someone was asking me about yoga and pelvic floor, and all of yoga strengthens your pelvic floor if you want to think about it that way. Breathing into that pelvic region, sending breath and attention, and just tightening and noticing different muscles there as you tighten and release. 2 more breaths here. If you're on your elbows, come up. Slide onto the sole of the left foot. Walk the left foot closer towards the middle. Keeping the blocks, curl your back toe, come up into a low lunge and enjoy a little bit more in that right hip flexor. One more breath here. Not working too hard. Move the blocks to either side. You'll bring your hands to the floor, drop your back knee, and bring your left foot back. Come back to hands and knees. Knees apart, toes together, shift back into child's pose and release the groin area. Release your arms long in front as far as you can. Sink your rear end towards your heels. Third eye on the earth. Take a moment to find groundedness, calm, centeredness in whatever way is accessible to you today. Big deep breath in and out. 3 more big breaths here. Let the exhale be pleasurable. A good exhale can happen any time in the day and feel amazing. Taking a moment here in child's pose to attend to things in your life that bring you pleasure. Maybe it's a view or the first sip of coffee or tea. Maybe it's fresh air or a favorite spot to sit. A room where the light brings you pleasure, where the sunshine brings you pleasure. Or a walk that brings you pleasure. Tiny little things. How can you sprinkle a bit more pleasure into your life? Doesn't have to be hard. Huge breath in and a big, delightful exhale. Press up to hands and knees once again. And we'll bring the blocks back. Right foot comes forward, coming into Anjaneyasana or low lunge, and your back knee can be patted here.
and really enjoy it. Let it be pleasurable. Don't overstretch. Use the blocks to help you. Lift up the 5 toes of the right foot, lower them down. Slide the back knee back a centimeter. Tuck the left hip forward a smidge. Notice these tiny micro movements. Big change. Let yourself enjoy them. When we attend to it, there's no shortage of pleasure to be found. And when you sprinkle it, you don't have to be worried about being distracted by it. It's like a healing balm or magic fairy dust. Two more breaths here. Draw your attention to the left hip flexor and give it permission to soften. To put down whatever it's carrying. Slowly straight right leg, lift up right toes, shift back into the half splits. You'll walk your hands underneath your shoulders and stay high here. Back is flat, hinge at the waist. Right toes spread as wide as they can. Draw the energy in and relax the toes. Hinge a smidge more at the waist, flat back. Huge breath in and out. 2 more breaths here, letting yourself enjoy the release. Setting the intention for that serotonin to circulate around. And when you're ready, slowly shift forward onto the right foot. You walk your right foot to the outer edge of the mat, bring the blocks to the inside, roll onto the outer edge of the right foot and allow your knee to fall towards the right. And readjust that back knee so you're not on it, being kind to it. And bring your elbows wherever works for your body. We're all different. More is not better. And draw your attention to that pelvic floor. Notice it. Squeeze some of the muscles, see what happens. Allow it to release and strengthen all at the same time. Tight muscles are not the strongest muscles. Two more breaths here. You can rock a little bit, see if that feels good. When you're ready, lift up onto the blocks, roll onto the sole of the right foot. Bring the right foot back towards the center. Curl your back toe and use those blocks, if you have them, to lift up into a high lunge. If you don't, leave your hands towards the floor and you can do a high lunge that way. You will notice a different stretch in your hip flexor when you do this. Huge breath in and out. Gently lower that back knee and bring your right foot back alongside the left knee. Come back to hands and knees. Come into cow and enjoy a release and a big juicy cat.
Come back to a flat back. We're going to come into a hip release. I love pigeon, so for any of you whose knees are okay and can do pigeon, you will bring your right knee to the outer edge of the right mat, right foot to the left side, and slide your back leg back. And you can use the bolster or the block. Some of you won't like this, and I'll give you another option. This is my favorite pose. If you can do it, I encourage you to try it. If it hurts your knee, opt out. You can do it with a bolster or nothing. If this doesn't feel good, you can come onto your back and do a figure 4, placing your left foot on the wall. And you can press your right hand into your right knee. Or if you don't have a wall, bring your hands behind the right thigh. The other way to do the same hip stretch is a double pigeon. So notice what works best for your body. You'll pick your right ankle up and place it atop the left knee sitting tall. So decide what works best for you to take a good care and tend to the right outer hip. And we'll be here for 10 breaths. Sending love and kindness and appreciation to the outer hips where we carry tons of stress. Hip releases are intense and there's pleasure in there. Can you attend to the pleasure? Can you adjust slightly to connect to the pleasure? Which movements increase that? Five more breaths on this side. The other really beautiful thing about restorative and yin yoga is that you can use it to sprinkle pleasure in your life. You don't have to do a whole class. You can do one pose. And that can make a really big difference. Last breath on this side. If you are on your back in figure 4, switch to the opposite side. If you are seated, stretch your legs long, untangle them, bang your knees out before you switch to the other side. And if you are in pigeon, come into either cat-cow or even a down dog to release the knees and the back. Being super kind and enjoy the pleasure of the stretch in between. These micro moments of pleasure. And when you feel complete, switch to the other side. If you're coming into pigeon on this side, you can come from downward dog or hands and knees. You'll bring left knee to the left side of the mat, left foot to the outer right side of the mat, and slide your right leg all the way back. You can come down onto forearms, lower head. Switch sides in the figure 4 and left ankle atop right knee if you're seated. They all do a hip release, and at different points in your day and your life, a different one might feel better. And wherever you are, when you arrive, drop in, come back to your breath. We'll be here for 10 breaths. Notice what happens to your nervous system when you connect with pleasure.
And rock a little wherever you are to notice how that shifts the stretch and the pleasure. Always adding a little lightness and a little play and a little movement can get you unstuck. When you're ready, begin to untangle yourself, doing whatever you did the last time, either forward fold, downward dog. If you're in figure four, draw your knees into your chest and have a little rock. And we'll all meet on our backs. If you have a block or a bolster, I would encourage you to grab that. So you can grab it nearby. Bend your knees and arrive on your back for a moment and just notice how your body feels. We're going to come into a supported bridge. So if you have a block, that will be the easiest. If you have a bolster, you could use that, or a firmish couch pillow. If you have the block, you will lift hips up. You'll bring your heels a little closer to your rear end. Lift your hips up, slide the block underneath on either the medium or the lowest setting. When you arrive, adjust your shoulders, your feet, ensuring you're comfortable. And the block is under the sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of the spine, making sure you feel stable and grounded. And come back to your breath. Notice the blood flow returning back towards your heart here. And notice what's happening in your hip flexors and lower back. And notice what's happening to your breath. Your mind is wandering, focus on the breath. We'll be here for 5 more breaths. If you're on the medium setting, you may want to shift the block to the lowest setting, a wider base. If you're on a bolster, stay where you are. On that lowest setting, we're going to bring the right knee up to a tabletop. Right shin is parallel to the ceiling, knee is 90 degrees. Bring your left shin up to meet it. Your sacrum is flat on the block, feeling stable, or flat on the cushion. Raise one leg straight towards the sky and the second leg alongside it. Feet up in the air. Body safe and grounded on the block or the bolster. We're going to stay here about 10 breaths with feet up in the air, letting the blood flow drain out of your feet. This is a version of feet up the wall without the wall. If you want to move closer to the wall, you can. I like it this way. Wiggle toes. Take a big breath. Huge exhale. And allow yourself to relax in.
Notice the pleasure here in this simple pose. Resetting your blood flow, resetting your nervous system. Big cleansing, nourishing breaths. Spread that pleasure around. Notice if you're gripping anywhere, soften. Wiggle fingers, toes, and settle back in. When you feel complete, bend one knee and then the other, and lower feet to the floor one at a time. Pause in supported bridge. Find your body again. And when you're ready, lift your hips up, slide the block out of the way. Lower your sacrum to the floor and arrive. Notice how you feel. Bring right ankle atop left knee. Raise arms overhead in an easy cactus shape. Drop knees, everything towards the left, coming into a figure 4 twist. The outer edge of the left thigh will be on the floor. Right sole of the foot will be on the floor. If you wish, gaze to the right. And allow yourself to soak this in. You notice your tummy making noise. It's your parasympathetic nervous system activated. It often happens about now in a restorative class, lots of tummy noises. It's not that you're hungry. Gently bring gaze back to center and knees back to center. Untangle feet. Left ankle atop right knee. Reorganize your sacrum, reorganize your shoulders. Drop to the right side. Left sole of the foot lands on the earth. Right outer thigh and knee land on the floor. And enjoy your entire left waistline. You wish to gaze to the left, enjoy that. And draw your attention to what's pleasurable. Practicing this idea of sprinkling pleasure simply by noticing. Gently bring gaze back to center and knees back to center. Untangle your feet, reorganize your sacrum. Draw knees to your chest, hands come to your shins, and rock once again. Really enjoy it. Come into happy baby and enjoy that. if it would be pleasurable, straight one leg and then the other. And soles of the feet together, heels come towards your groin, release hands and lower feet to the floor. Come into Supta Baddha Konasana for a moment, hand to heart, hand to belly, and check in. Notice what feels good. And from here, we will come into Shavasana, taking a moment to notice what would bring you the most pleasure. Would staying in Supta Baddha Konasana do that? And what cushions and supports do you need? Would you like to put the bolster under your knees? You can put the blocks under your knees. If you stay in Supta Baddha Konasana, find the Shavasana that feels the best to you. There isn't a right way to do it. Grab a blanket if you need that, an eye pillow if you need that. Let it be super comfortable. Let it be an exercise in pleasure. And when you found your spot, settle in. Come back to your breath. Breathing in and out. Letting go of control of the breath. Let your body breathe for itself. Let go of the control of your muscles. Let the mat and the earth and the cushions hold you and cradle you. Allow yourself to surrender into deep rest. Gently begin to deepen your breath. If you wish to stay in Shavasana, feel free and let yourself sink back in. If you wish to come out, gently wiggle fingers and toes. And stretch in whatever way feels good to you. Let it be an incredibly pleasurable stretch. With your attention on the pleasure, practicing sprinkling pleasure. Draw your knees into your chest and roll over to one side and pause there. Enjoy that curled up in a ball, safe, relaxed feeling. Allow yourself to enjoy it. And when you're ready, press into your hands and come up to a comfortable seat. You can sit up on the bolster or a block. When you arrive seated, bring a hand to heart and another hand atop. Connecting with the pleasure your body perhaps feels now. The slowness, the relaxation. Serotonin and the oxytocin and the dopamine all circulating around, letting yourself enjoy them. Remembering that this feeling is in your body. It's there, and we can reconnect with it when we need it. Three more breaths. Just enjoy them. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. One more, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Thank you all so much for practicing with me this evening. May you all have a beautiful week of sprinkling little bits of pleasure throughout, noticing, appreciating, and enjoying the moments. Namaste.